Hey friends, it's RoBoHoBo from Orena TV. In this video, we'll be taking a good look at the ASUS 34-inch PG348Q curved gaming monitor. We'll also be guiding you through some of what we feel are the most important features of the screen, including taking you through a quick tutorial on how to kick it up to that beautifully smooth 100Hz gaming experience. We'll also be testing the power of the PG348Q when combining it with ASUS's take on the NVIDIA GTX 980 Ti graphics card, as well as testing the FPS limitations of the screen when pairing it with some of the lower tier cards in the ASUS Strix range.
Before we head into any details, let's make sure we're operating at the optimal 100Hz refresh rate. I think we can all agree it can make a huge difference, especially when playing competitive FPS titles such as Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Quake, and Call of Duty. The amount of detail that is spared while performing high-paced movements is drastically increased the higher the refresh rate gets. When facing the back of the monitor, navigate to the lower left of the panel to find the mini joystick and monitor menu buttons. Once you have found the mini joystick, press it lightly to open up the monitor menu. Once opened, navigate to the overclocking tab and press in lightly. Tick on to activate the overclocking options. Navigate to the max refresh rate and press lightly. Select 100Hz with the mini joystick and press lightly. When a window opens up in the center of the monitor, press the mini joystick lightly to select yes. Let the monitor restart. Once the monitor is restarted, return to your desktop and right click. Click on display settings. Navigate to advanced display settings and click. Navigate to display adapter properties and click. When the adapter properties window opens, navigate to the monitor tab. Navigate to the screen refresh rate and select 100Hz. Click apply. Click keep changes.
Now that we've got our screen operating at a smoother 100Hz, let's jump into the FPS test.
We'll be testing out the performance of the ASUS NVIDIA GTX 950, the medium range 970, and the card that is perfectly suited to the screen thanks to its bulky size, the Matrix Platinum 980 Ti. We'll be running through all three cards to see if there truly is a noticeable difference when using the higher end models with the 34-inch Swift monitor. ASUS South Africa have luckily provided us with Ubisoft's new title, Far Cry Primal, to conduct our Mythbuster-like test. Take note, we've set the game to a default high graphical settings for all three cards, including a 100Hz refresh ratio and a max resolution of 3440 by 1440. We'll be running through the intro sequence only to get an equal and clear comparison, but don't worry, we'll be releasing some content on Far Cry soon. A mention must go to the added anti-flicker support, which allowed us to take these wicked gameplay shots with a separate camera. The first thing I noticed was the cinematics for Far Cry Primal can't really cater to the high aspect ratio of the monitor, leaving large black bars on the left and right hand side of the screen. Once I ran through the cinematic and intro sequences with all three cards, there were clear signs of slight frame hopping when utilizing the 950 and 970 cards, with minimal to zero signs of hopping on the 980 Ti. In terms of a direct frames per second comparison, the 950 averaged at around 25 to 28 frames per second throughout the intro and cinematic sequence. The 970 averaged at around 38 to 42 frames per second, while the 980 Ti averaged at around 65 to 70 frames per second. When looking at it from a percentage point of view, from going from the 950 to the 970, you'd get a 46% increase in FPS. From the 950 to the 980, you see the largest increase of 67% and the smallest increase showing from the 970 to the 980 of 36%. All in all, the major difference comes in when utilizing the 980 Ti. Once the 60 FPS barrier is breached, the game becomes a lot smoother to the eye when processing fast movement. One of the main factors for us as an organization that deals in live streaming and broadcasting tournaments, having a 60 FPS can be a crucial factor when looking at quality. Thinking of this, we could highly recommend using the 980 Ti when looking to utilize the ASUS Swift 34-inch monitor while editing or live streaming. Before closing off, let's summarize some of the key features of the ASUS PG348Q. For starters, we get a 34-inch ultra-wide QHD 3440 by 1440 max resolution curved screen with a 21:9 aspect ratio for the mega fan looking for that ideal panoramic gaming experience, as well as a 1000:1 contrast ratio for an immersive and vibrant atmosphere. Included to cater to the more competitive gamer, ASUS have added NVIDIA G-Sync display technology and a 100Hz refresh rate for an incredibly smooth FPS experience. And lastly, a final but crucial feature, the ultra-low blue light technology for those gaming marathons, allowing you to switch to lower levels of blue light depending on the type of activity, be it browsing, developing, or having a good gaming session. Now that the test is complete, the argument regarding the PG348Q requiring a 980 Ti to operate at full potential, we feel, is definitely true. When wanting to use the screen to game at high graphical settings or to be able to live stream or render at 60 FPS while utilizing this monitor, you'll definitely need that extra boost of processing power from the Matrix Platinum 980 Ti.
To end off, a huge thank you goes out to ASUS South Africa for letting us play with their fancy new toys over the past couple weeks. If you have any questions regarding the gear, feel free to ask the questions below. I'm RoBoHoBo, be back soon with some new gaming and tech reviews on Orena TV. Cheers friends.